Mr. Reggie, take it away.
Yakuza Like a Dragon is a game about the gradient between right and wrong, strengthening the bonds of friendship through interdimensional karaoke, and whatever the hell this is. Disclaimer, this video will be extremely confusing if you haven't seen part 1, and moderately confusing even if you have. 4 months have passed since we've been to the mystical and enchanting world of Japan, so allow me to get you up to date. Our main character is Eric Andre, playing himself as a violent schizophrenic. He's on a mission to protect the city of Yokohama and win Daddy's approval. Then there's Koichi Adachi, a disgraced police officer who's determined to get his job back by setting a world record for police brutality. Psycho Makoto doesn't really have a goal. She's just a sadistic sexual deviant. Then there's Hideo Kojima as Namba, the aspiring domestic terrorist. And finally, we have actual domestic terrorist Justin Trudeau as corrupt politician Ryo Aoki. Last episode, we were betrayed by Namba, who's working with Ryo Aoki to orchestrate an invasion of Yokohama using the Omi Alliance Yakuza and a nationwide group of liberals. The only thing standing in their way is us, an unmedicated maniac, Dom Imami, and an unhinged police officer. Actually, that last one might be useful. Can we work together with local factions to repel this invasion, or will we fall victim to the liberal agenda? Let's find out. But first, I have to tell you something. 11 years ago, I was a football sensation in Brazil. They used to call me El Hombre Sem Dedos. Still not sure what that means, but my career was going...
Brazilian chatters, what does that mean? What does that mean? Ad incoming? I know, but what does that mean? Man with no fingers? It's not Portuguese. What?
Well, until one fateful afternoon, I was crushing the local favela kids in a game of full-contact football. But as I lined up for the game-winning goal, I kicked the ball too hard and it ripped through the goalkeeper, the net, and crashed into a local library, where it proceeded to ricochet around the room, killing 9 people in the process. Allegedly. Anyway, after that, my lawyer told me I should probably stop playing football, which was devastating. However, I found the next best thing. The sponsor of today's video, UFL, a free-to-play premium football simulation game. Now I can relive my glory days without having to worry about the accident. UFL offers an entirely skill-based gameplay experience where you're free to customize your team and subvert the metagame by pioneering your own unique strategies. When I play this game, it brings me back to my glory days. I can almost feel myself throwing flying kicks at the enemy team and making the crowd go absolutely wild. But maybe you think this is just some normal football game. My friend, you could not possibly be more wrong, because not only has UFL partnered with Cristiano Ronaldo, but it's also partnered with Adidas to introduce branded gear, iconic franchises, and a custom stadium. Additionally, mythic item packs are now available for purchase, with each one guaranteeing a premium player skin, league points, and boosts to help you develop your team. With all of that being said, I think it's time for you to enjoy the fast-paced action and realistic graphics of UFL using the link in the description. Play UFL now, play for football. Well, this is it, Invasion Day. Any minute now, this whole place will be swarming with enemy Yakuza. So I decide to head to a dungeon and grind some XP. Technically, it's not a dungeon, but that just sounds better than saying, I'm going to a public sewer system to beat the homeless with propane tanks. Anyway, after finishing up at the sewers, I hear that the Korean district is under attack. We head over to help, only to be confronted by ultimate dickhead Kume and his gang of protesters. But that's perfect timing, because Adachi just unlocked his taser ability, and it's very effective. Apart from that, we...
Does it actually give you bonus damage? That'd be so good.
Also got to enjoy my favorite voice line in the entire game, which is when Kume uses indictment.
Your society's garbage!
Just fantastic.
Oh, it's just Twitter. It's literally Twitter.
Now, let's use a dominatrix to socially manipulate him into killing an innocent man. Good job, Kume. Now eat shit. After that, I detonate several nail bombs to work my way through the crowd, eventually reaching the protest wrecking ball? Look, you seem like a reasonable man. I'm sure we can get... Okay, screw that. I'm leaving. After escaping, the Koreans tell us about a way to enter their base that doesn't involve being pulverized by construction equipment. We go inside and they ask us to hold back the protesters long enough for them to destroy any evidence of their counterfeit money operation. Just then, former friend Namba and an Omi lieutenant attack us. We hold them off for a while, and the counterfeiting operation goes up in flames.
Oh
We're
my
pretty happy
God.
about this, but Namba's not coping with it very well. In fact, I think he might have rabies. After this, we find out that Namba's kidnapped brother, the entire reason he betrayed us and started this invasion in the first place, is actually alive and well. The Koreans just have him at an Airbnb.
What the fuck?
Try not to think about it too much. We make up with Namba, develop brain damage from excessive smoke inhalation, and then escape back to the homeless camp with a
can achieve that with
hostage. He gives us a
VTubing too.
nearly lethal dose of exposition before some of his guys come to save him. My man, where are your eyebrows? The fighting gets interrupted by the loudest ringtone in all of existence, and we find out fan-favorite character Zhao needs our help. So we head over to Zhao's headquarters,
Let's
only to find that
go!
the entire Chinese mafia has mutinied and taken him hostage at this restaurant. Kasuga, suffering from a terminal case of I just want to help out, decides that we're going to fight our way through the entire front of house, a handful of deranged chefs, the general manager, and a fucking tiger. Fortunately, like
What?
most animals, the tiger has a profound weakness to being shot 150 times. After all that, we make our way to the top floor, where Mabuchi is meeting with the Omi Alliance lieutenants.
Hurry up and kill me.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Boom, boom, boom.
After Mabuchi, we're introduced to Lieutenant Tendo, who gets up, explains he's too cool to fight us, and then leaves.
Oh.
That leaves us with Lieutenant Ishioda
Okay.
and his gaggle of walking experience points. Unfortunately for them, Namba's
beat him up.
back, and he's now entering his redemption arc, because he decided to make things up to us by using level 99 Hobomancy to do this.
Whoa!
Holy shit, that ain't Namba anymore. We callin' him
He's a
the N-Bomb.
Superman.
But hey, listen,
Whoa, 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 what? The N-bomb? You could just call it the Namba bomb, not the N-bomb.
anyone who's willing to immolate another human being for me, well, they can be my friend anytime. Following this, we find Zhao, who's been rescued by our old friend Mitsu from the Tojo clan. He didn't do anything interesting enough to get screen time in the first video, and he's just barely cutting it here, because he tells us in the vaguest words possible, Arakawa is planning something. Be ready. Thanks a lot, Fatso. Let's see if Hoshino can clarify any of that. The answer is kind of. Remember that mysterious bill in our pocket? Hoshino explains that he gave this fake bill to Arakawa 40 years ago as an apology for assassinating his father. Hey kid, sorry I blew your dad's brains out. Here's a bunch of Monopoly money. Don't spend it all in one place. Anyway, we think Arakawa must have given this to us as a sign of goodwill, meaning he might still be on our side after all.
Exposition.
Fast forward 3 cutscenes. Aoki is rapidly accumulating political influence, but he still has time to go to the hospital and shit-talk his political enemies.
Honestly, if I hated someone at my deathbed, or at their deathbed, I would totally do that too. Just go over there and be like, you're a piece of shit, I'm out of here. Just walk away.
Actually
You
counted
can't do anything
Ogikubo's
about
heart
it.
rate here, it's 372 beats per minute. My man is literally too angry to die. Something has to be done about Aoki. So,
Me
like
too.
a demented ex-girlfriend, I spend all week stalking him. I am obsessed. I fantasize about killing him and wearing his skin like a cloak. Eventually, we ambush him in a parking garage. His security guards try to intervene, but no matter how many times they cave in the back of my skull, I just keep getting up. We finally reach Aoki and share a sexually charged handshake with him. He tells us to meet him at the bathhouse alone. This is promising. We arrive there and he explains some interesting things to us. First of all, we didn't go to jail for Sawashiro. We went to jail for him. Remember when he injected himself with that experimental drug?
Oh.
Yeah, turns out the side effects include having a mental breakdown and ventilating this guy's skull. So our
What?
Kawa lied to us to protect his son, but it's okay, because he's such a good kid. Anyway, Aoki demands that we leave him alone, or he'll piss his
Whoopsie-doopsie,
pants
yeah.
and throw a tantrum. And you know what? I just don't care. So we make our escape out the back door and into the parking lot, where we are confronted by 7 Asians and one kind of mutated half
Look at his goofy looking ass.
breed. This guy looks like he crawled out of a Monsanto growth vat. So for the sake of all humankind, we're going to have to put him down. After all that, we receive a call explaining that Arakawa wants to meet with us tomorrow, but Kasuga is a socially maladjusted psychopath.
Me too.
So instead of waiting a few hours, we decide to break into his office and permanently cripple several of his associates. All was going well until we were confronted by these two. This is Goro Majima and Taiga Saijima. And if you're a fan of the other games, this moment is where you are
Did I hear the One Piece theme in the background there for a second, or am I crazy?
legally allowed to blow a load in your pants.
Sitting around in this place has been killing me with boredom.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, is that Jotaro?
Oh, it's Matthew Mercer!
Alright, wasn't expecting that. Let's go.
Yo.
Okay, in hindsight, that was a bad idea. We're not even close to being able to beat them, but I know what to do. We're
Okay.
going to craft the strongest sledgehammer in the game, and then I'm going to use it to turn Majima's head into a two-dimensional object. First, we need to
Oh,
spend
like
7
me.
hours on the baseball minigame. This will get us enough tickets to afford the base weapon, which we can upgrade from there. Good, you've got enough points. Now, keep going.
Bam, 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 bam.
Stop saying dumbass things! You're not even making sense!
Shut the hell up. Now watch me hit this slick triple. Alright, that'll do. Grab the hammer and Google the next step. Realize it's going to cost 20 million yen to craft this.
Holy!
Have a small and well-contained mental breakdown. Now go craft these shitty helmets and swallow this drink. Don't ask me what it is, because I don't know. But you're now making 200% more money from enemies. Time to go spend 4 hours
Ooh.
crushing people's testicles in the Sotenbori battle arena.
Wait! What?
People's testicles in the Sotenbori
This is a real move!
battle arena.
She steps on his nuts!
Congratulations, you now have 20 mil. Craft the hammer and go reintroduce yourself to Goro. The second
Holy,
attempt
look
was
at
a
that
lot
damage,
easier, because
dude.
after 20 sledgehammer hits and some help from an orbital ion cannon, we survived the fight long enough
So
to be
Obama
interrupted by
strike chant.
Arakawa and his former boss Daigo Dojima, the chairman of the Tojo clan. This is all a little confusing, but at least we haven't been shot yet. We follow them upstairs, where they explain everything. Turns out Arakawa is a double agent. He betrayed the Tojo clan with Daigo's permission in order to infiltrate the Omi Alliance and weaken it from within. Tomorrow, the actual leader of the Omi Alliance, Masaru Watase, is getting released from prison. And when that happens, Arakawa, Daigo, and Watase are going to hold a meeting in front of hundreds of
Oh, those
Yakuza to
goons,
dissolve the
chat, those
Tojo
are
clan
you.
and Omi Alliance, which will destroy Aoki's criminal influence. The best part? No one knows about this except for us. So when it's announced, shit might go crazy. The next day, we head into the meeting hall, Watase makes his arrival, and declares the dissolution of the Omi Alliance. This was not well received. Then Daigo comes out and dissolves the
pissed.
Tojo clan. Things are now at a fever pitch. Watase calls the entire crowd pussies, at which point there's no turning back. Fortunately, we've got plenty of backup.
It's wrecking time!
Yeah! Holy!
In the middle of all of this, an Omi thug rushes the stage with a knife. I hope you didn't bother changing your pants, because this is where Kazuma Kiryu makes his introduction by casually crushing this man's jaw. Not long after, the fighting is over, the dissolution is complete, and Daddy Arakawa finally gives us some much-needed emotional validation. What a happy ending.
Kasuga, you need to call me as soon as you get this. This morning, they found Arakawa's body in the ocean.
What?
Well, shit. We're pretty sure Aoki's behind the assassination. It's not obvious who pulled the trigger, but I did just witness Sawashiro gouge out a man's eyeballs
Yeah, they
like 2
killed
cutscenes
everyone,
ago,
bro.
so I'd say he's a strong candidate. Anyway, we're pretty depressed about the whole dead Arakawa thing, but I think I know something that'll cheer us up.
No.
Sub-stories. These side quests are some of the most enjoyable parts of any Yakuza game.
It's a
The
Mario
easiest
Kart.
way to understand them is to imagine you took a bunch of hallucinogenic drugs and wandered around town offering your services as a freelance adventurer. However,
As someone who has no idea what Yakuza was even about, like up until maybe like a year ago, like I heard of the game, I heard the side quests are like the best thing about the game. Like the main story is like the hamburger, and then everything else is like little delicious little meals afterwards.
personally believe it's better if you don't understand them.
Yeah,
One
they're
minute
just
you're investing in a
goofy and
vacuum
silly.
company, and the next you're watching a military-grade Roomba slaughter dozens of innocent civilians. And that's perfectly okay. In fact, I think it's a lot of fun. Kasuga loves helping people, so you can imagine how excited he was when we came across a group of metrosexual bikers in need of assistance. We approached them and they explained that one of their motorcycle enthusiasts has been taken hostage by the Yakuza. Apparently, he went on a drug-fueled bender and strangled 37 people with a chain, and now the evil Yakuza are holding him captive until they get like $500 to cover the funeral costs. In my demented mind, this makes perfect sense. We offer to help rescue their friend. However, the only biker that's willing to come with us is this guy. This is Taka the Striker, and at first glance you may be impressed by his chiseled features and physics-defying hair. But he keeps referring to himself in the third person, and I'm pretty sure he's retarded. My evidence for this is that I told him to wait here for 30 seconds while I gather supplies. I came back 15 seconds later, and he had already left to attack the Yakuza office by himself.
Oh
well,
God,
maybe
this
he's
guy's
actually
dumb as
really
fuck.
strong and doesn't need our help. Never mind, Taka has been on the ground getting his back blown out for the past 20 minutes, so we decide to help him the only way we know how. After beating the Yakuza to death, we make our escape, and our motorcycle friends are free to terrorize the streets once more. In fact, as a sign of gratitude, Taka gives us his pound-made number. So if we ever get accosted by strange men, we can call Taka to ride in on his motorcycle, light the wheels on fire, and commit several acts of vehicular manslaughter. Very nice. On to the next quest. I'm walking past this children's park, where I find a man headbutting a tree. Obviously, we introduce ourselves. This is Mr. Masochist. He's a pain-loving degenerate. However, he's had his balls stepped on one too many times, and now he can't feel anything. He yearns for the sweet nectar of pain, but is unable to acquire it. So he rips off his clothes and begs us to beat him. We conduct an extreme and violent S&M session in the middle of this
Holy crap, you resisted everything! How do you get him to hurt?
playground. But no matter what we do to him, he can't feel a thing. This is tragic. I even tried finding his mother so she could inflict psychological pain upon him, but that just became depressing really quick, so I gave up. However, later that day, we come across a woman who's about to be stabbed. Mr. Masochist gets jealous of this and it dives in front of the knife, saving her life. We beat down the attackers and the woman thanks our gimped out friend, but he's too busy being depressed to care. So she calls him pathetic and slaps him. He likes liked that a lot. One thing leads to another, and suddenly she's spanking him with a riding crop.
It hurts so good!
Imagine being the voice actor for this. So, you play a masochist who gets naked and then gets spanked by a woman that you saved.
Finally, our friend can feel the pain he desires. Mr. Masochist has been unlocked as a pound mate. Well, helping all of those average Japanese men was nice and all, but we still need to deal with Ryo Aoki. We've already damaged his criminal empire, now we're going to hit him politically. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any photos of Ryo Aoki blackface, so we'll
There's a lot of gay porn, huh?
have to do this the old-fashioned way. Aoki has chosen
There's a lot of gay porn of Yakuza, huh?
Kume to run for office in Yokohama. The canonical reason for this is because he wants to flex his
Makes
power
sense.
by getting the most retarded guy in town elected to parliament. We're going to enter the election against Kume and
That's
use
like
that to
real
get close to
politics.
Aoki. Yes, I know we're a convicted criminal who has spent the last month beating people to death with a sledgehammer, but I don't think that would even make a difference in real life, let alone in the wonderful world of Yakuza. So let's give it a shot.
Wait, what? Hold on. What was
In
that?
real life,
The curse, the Reggie, you can't put this. You can't put that in the video.
let alone in the
Reggie, that's Netanyahu.
wonderful world of Yakuza. So let's give it a shot. We acquire a campaign van and drive it down to the waterfront to debate Kume. When Kasuga is speaking to any other character in the game, he has the oration and mental acuity of a grape. But for some reason, when we speak to Kume, Kasuga's brain painfully and rapidly expands as his IQ enters the low millions. His ego dissolves, and for a brief moment in time, he becomes God. Kume responds not with a counter-argument, but rather with a series of noises usually reserved reserved for a prostate exam. And with that, we have secured our first political victory.
He's got my vote!
Shut up, you're homeless. That was a pretty
You know, Reggie's from Canada. He's kind of based. Wonder when he's gonna get arrested.
massive W for the Kasuga campaign. So we follow Kume to his next rally, where we assert ideological superiority by beating the shit out of his voters. And just as I'm about to kidnap and presumably murder Kume, I receive some troubling news. Turns out Aoki isn't taking too kindly to us bullying his Make-A-Wish kid, and he
Right.
sent an assassin to kill
Naturally.
Hoshino. With Arakawa dead, Hoshino is the closest thing we have to a diabetic father figure, so we can't let him be killed. We rush over to his office to save him from Sawashiro, but something tells me we might be too late. I skip all the dialogue because I can't read, and then the fight begins. Unfortunately, Sawashiro's stats got buffed, and he's absolutely humiliating us. In fact, he managed to dodge most of my attacks by
53!
standing perfectly still. Well, try dodging this, you fucking casual.
Whoa!
Eventually, we got him on the ground, which is a very bad place to be when I have a sledgehammer. As a
Ooh,
reward for
big
beating
damn.
his ass, Sawashiro decides to tell us why he's loyal to Ryo Aoki in the first place. Turns out the subway station lockers are the premier baby depository for all of Japan, because when Sawashiro was a teenager, he left his unwanted child in one of these lockers. In fact, he did it on the same night that Arakawa's wife put their child in the locker. Ryo Aoki was one of those babies, and Kasuga was the other. It is basically confirmed that we are Arakawa's real son, but he took the wrong baby that night, causing us to be raised by hookers in a brothel while
This is so out of pocket. Are you kidding me?
Aoki was raised by the Yakuza, and the only person who knew all of this was Sawashiro. He also mentions that he didn't kill Arakawa, but he's pretty sure that notorious dickhead Ishioda did. I was genuinely unsure of how to process this information, so I settled on calling the police and sending Sawashiro to prison for life. After that, we head back to the campaign office to find Kume and twist his nipples, but all we could find was this guy. We start beating him mercilessly for information on Kume, and after he tells us everything he knows, we keep going.
Beat his ass.
Just before we can watch the spark of life fade from this poor man's eyes, we are stopped by none other than Kiryu. He claims to have the information we're
Oh my god!
looking for, but first we have to
know
prove
this
ourselves to
guy!
him. Apparently, the only way to do that is by defeating him in shirtless combat. The fight was challenging. Kiryu spent the entire time beating Namba like he owes him money, but fortunately, Saiko unlocked her Enema Revival skill. Honestly, this fight is a great
What?
opportunity to appreciate the depth of Kasuga's schizophrenia, because to us, it looks like this. But to Kasuga, it looks like this.
Whoa! Elden Ring music!
I know that seemed pretty promising for us, but Kiryu has been in about 23 different Yakuza games,
He's
and
the bad
unfortunately, the
man.
fandom has already depicted him as the Chad and us. So nothing we do could have won us this fight.
Wait,
As the
go
Chad
back.
and us.
Go back. The Chad rejected the woman who left him to beat the shit out of her brother in front of her. Legend of Karaoke, naturally. Not tempted by the distractions of the flesh. Made being a virgin cool. Wait, he's actually a virgin in the lore, canonically? Perfect vision. Makoto remembers him. Is still feared as a 40-year-old civilian. Most requested guest character for Tekken. That's actually true. I'm a Tekken fan, and I don't play Yakuza, and I've heard about that through other people and like Twitter posts and shit. He is? Wow. This guy's a dreamboat, huh, chat?
Us as the
He's
virgin.
not.
So nothing we do could have won us this fight.
He's the ultimate
In fact, we awake 20 minutes
Chad.
later, and Kiryu tells us he beat us into a low-grade coma just so we would chill out. Now that we're sufficiently
Based.
calm, Kiryu takes us in to meet with Korean lady whose name I forgot 3 months ago. They explain that Aoki is bringing in a legendary assassin to kill the rest of us. Somewhat problematic. This assassin is named Mirror Face for his supernatural ability to impersonate other people on an atomic level. He's basically a skinwalker, and I can't risk
He's
this video turning into a
Frieza!
creepypasta, so we have to kill this guy right now. We head over to this office to intercept Mirror Face, but oh no, it's a trap. So anyway, we make it upstairs to find Ishioda waiting for us. Oh, for fuck's sake, don't tell me this is another trap. This is Mirror Face. He has assumed Adachi's identity, and now he's either trying to strangle him to death or give him mono. Can't tell which. It's all a little confusing, and personally, I just shoot them both. But eventually, Kasuga finds the real Adachi, and the fight is on. This is the man that murdered our father, so we can't hold anything back. Saiko burnt him with candle wax, Adachi electrocuted him, and Namba got beat to death with an office chair. Twice.
Holy!
Eventually, we got the upper hand, and Ishioda explains that he tried to kill Arakawa, but Tendo stopped him and did it himself. New arch-nemesis acquired. So we're all up in this office theorizing about how we can get to Tendo, and it's going quite well, until... Final chapter. It's been several weeks since we exploded. Presumably, we're dead. That's good news for Kume and Aoki, because the election is tomorrow and they're out campaigning. For a brief moment, Aoki considers that lying to the taxpayers and assassinating political enemies might be morally wrong, but his
they do it all the time. Who cares? You're a perfect politician.
secretary assures him that it's actually based, and he agrees. I am going to kill this woman. While that's happening, a mysterious man is quickly approaching their van. He appears unhinged, his motives are unclear, and he's possibly concealing an AR-15 in his trench coat, until he rips off his jacket to reveal Kasuga with the band-aid. You see, we may have been 4 feet from an exploding brick of C4, but Kiryu taught us the most important skill in any Yakuza video game: essence of plot armor. We launch ourselves onto Aoki's bus and deliver him one final ultimatum. We explain that there's a recording of him ordering the assassination of Arakawa, and it's hidden somewhere inside the Millennium Tower. Once we get it, we're going to release it to the public and ruin him. This was a bluff, but Aoki is too much of a neurotic freak to ignore it. First, he's going to send hundreds of his men to look for the tape, but after we beat them, he'll show up himself, and then we've got him all to ourselves. So we prepared ourselves for this final confrontation. Mostly, this involved going to the blacksmith to upgrade all of our weapons, and then getting absolutely hammered on convenience store sake. I'm not an alcoholic, I just like the vibe. We arrive at the tower positively inebriated. In fact, we're so profoundly wasted that we spent the first 4 turns of battle beating the shit out of each other. But eventually, we sobered up enough to find the real enemies. This place is swarming with Yakuza, which gave us an abundance of data regarding which furniture can and cannot be destroyed with the human body. Eventually, we make our way upstairs, where we find Tendo. He wastes no time, threatening to suspend us from the ceiling by our balls.
You must have had a pair of brass balls. I'm gonna have to string your balls.
He's a freak for real, but we can't let that happen.
You know, as Tenma played this game, there's a lot of naked men, or like half-naked men.
This ends here. The fight against Tendo is objectively unfair, because he has no known weaknesses, throws us around like we're goddamn cartoon characters, and he does this really cute thing where he punches you in the chest and you die. Apparently, the meta strategy to counter this is to call Mr. Masochist, who loves being beaten so much that he'll jump in to absorb the punches for you. However, I completely forgot about that. So the battle plan was just grinding pepper in Tendo's eyes and hoping he'd go blind. This did not work very well. Also, I noticed Tendo has a statistically abnormal obsession with beating Saiko. I'm not sure if it's because she's a woman or my healer, but he spent about 90% of the fight running
How about both?
her down. The battle went on for about 20 minutes until I got desperate and
I wonder if there's a guy that programmed it to be like, okay, if woman beat hard, if also healer beat even harder.
called for help from my top
I
employee.
would too, to be fair. Go for the healer. You have to. Train the healer. Wow! Ooh! It's the goat!
It's showtime!
Whoa!
This attack was so effective, it made Tendo ragdoll through the sky like we were on GM flat tracks. After that, Namba hit him with some lightning and I thought we won. But just as Tendo was about to surrender himself to unconsciousness, he must have heard Saiko's voice, because he got back up and immediately started punching us in the face again. Lovely. Meanwhile, Ryo Aoki is at City Hall preparing to declare his party's victory in the elections. Until something comes on the TV. My Japanese is a little rusty, but I believe it says, "Dumb shithead Ryo Aoki wanted for incitement incitement to murder. The crowd breaks into a frenzy, and Aoki looks like his head is about to explode. He's furious, and he's coming straight for us.
pissed.
He arrives 10 minutes later to find Tendo and, all of our dead bodies. As if that wasn't bad enough, Aoki realizes we must have had help to even get this far. So he says loudly and very legibly,
Hunt them all down. Kill them. Make sure the bodies are never found.
"Gotcha, bitch." We're not actually dead. That's not actually Tendo, it's Mirror Face. And you've just admitted a bunch of criminal shit on camera. It's the end of the line. But Aoki doesn't want to go gently
What a
into that good night.
twist!
Kill them all! Leave no one alive!
Gotcha, bitch! Red-handed!
Aoki spent the last 30 years of his life in a wheelchair, and I am desperately attempting to put him back in one. But apparently it wasn't enough to stop him from taking a police officer hostage and escaping the tower. Now he's on the run, and I think I know where he's heading. The place where it all began. We find Aoki at the subway lockers, where our parents left us some 40 years ago. At first, he's still a little angry with us, but we're not here to fight. Kasuga slowly convinces Aoki that it doesn't have to be this way. He can do his time and start over. Be reborn as the man he was supposed to be. A good man and a good brother. The mere thought of not being a complete and utter piece of shit drives Aoki to the brink of suicide. But eventually we get through to him. He puts away the gun, agrees to turn himself in, and we share our first real moment as brothers. Then he gets stabbed in the abdomen with a buck knife. That's right, the final boss of the entire game just got taken out by ultimate dickhead Kume. Absolutely unbelievable. Kasuga picks up Aoki and rushes him to the hospital. Credits roll, I cry, and then we get an epilogue. Adachi gets his job back on the police force. Kasuga attends a joint funeral for Arakawa and Aoki, and we get an invite to leave town with the actually cool Yakuza characters. But we turn it down. We're staying here with our friends. They call us gay and we go cry on a bridge. It's finally over. Well, that's going to be it for this video. We've laughed, we've cried, and most importantly, we've realized the importance of not taking your medication. Because I'm pretty sure none of this would have been possible if Kasuga wasn't completely and utterly insane. Thank you to this month's patrons, and finally, thank you for watching.
07. Oh my god, that was awesome! Chat, what the frick? He's playing Mario Kart. Chat, so what do we learn? We don't trust a motherfucker called Coom? Yeah! Don't trust a guy named Coom. I think that's a very valid lesson to be learned.